drawn to comics and graphic novels. I'm really intrigued by them because they're really for the masses.
Someone just brought out this comic book. It was X-Men, Uncanny X-Men. Someone said, hey, look at this. And it hit me like, man, these are awesome drawings. The artist who was in that first comic book that inspired me to start doing comic books was Mark Silvestri. And I followed his work for a long time and watched his work evolve and mirrored my work after it. Another influence is Mike Mignola. He does the book Hellboy, and his work is very simplified, very black and white, and very graphic. And my work, I feel, has evolved from what Mark Silvestri was doing, which was a lot more traditional comic, which is a lot of little lines, making gradient shades, to this stark sort of black-white style of Mike Mignola.
Currently, I am working on learning how to do comics. I've started getting interested in doing web comics. So I'm working a lot on drawing and trying to get the web comics going so that I can start moving into a direction of graphic novels is what I really am trying to do.
I like to draw characters who look like they could be real, but then have elements of fantasy.
I really am drawn to it as an art form, not so much as trying to do superhero comics per se, but doing more of like an actual art that's in narrative form. Graphic novels, I think, are very interesting compared to just a comic, and it's very hazy. Everyone argues about what really makes a graphic novel, but to me, when I look at it, the difference is that it's more coming from a place of its art, versus I look at comics and I see something that's a little more mainstream, a little more puff entertainment, which isn't necessarily bad, but the graphic novels, to me, I'm really drawn to more of the really beautiful drawings and a chance to actually get to do something that's combining a story and art.
You know, I often do tell stories and then put them out there, and I never know who's going to react to them. I tell my internal stories, and they find the niche, the little niche. I mean, there's maybe 2 or 3 people out there who think like I do, and that's the voice I'm trying to bring, my own.
CLAW stands for the Cartoonist League of Absurd Washingtonians, and we picked that name just so that it would spell out CLAW. In order to become a member of CLAW, you have to be vetted by the other members and be voted in. You're vetted based on your work. If it's not up to snuff, you don't get in.
I grew up in a very small town, a town of 900 people and 1,200 cows. And comic books were one of the first things I realized came from outside of that town, and it was full of people who drew, which was great because that's what I did. So I figured that would be a great way for me to get out of town.
We wanted to be very civic oriented, we wanted to be very involved with the city, but we wanted to be involved in a very silly way.
And very recently, I've decided to do what I like to do, which is draw a very cartoony style.
I guess I enjoy it because it's a visual medium and I'm a visual person, so I get that out of it. I guess I have a more realistically based cartoon style because I used to do more representational type of art. So when I started, and whenever I cartoon, I still come at it from that more representational perspective. So, so I tend not to have the noodle arms. They tend to have elbows, and they tend to have proportions tend to be more exact and everything.
Impression of what a cartoonist is. We're like fairies and pixie dust. We're magical creatures to be coveted and cherished. I love that aspect. Too much of it has the starving artist sticked onto it, but I like the fact that when people think of us, they think really, oh, they're a fun group.
When I first came here from the East Coast 9 years ago, I was looking for an arts community or something where I could fit in. And there were so many opportunities for the arts in this city that I was really excited by it. And then I found some guys who are goofy and silly and like wearing fezzes, and I fit in with them pretty good.
I believe in being a professional cartoonist, and I've always had the attitude that you can make a living at this, you can have fun at this, and you can do them both at the same time.